The emergency alarm echoed through the grand chamber of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 200 different species looked up from their discussions, their various forms of faces showing concern. Ambassador Relic, of the Vorian Empire, touched the holographic display floating before his seat. The message that appeared made his 3 hearts beat faster. Theta 7 mining colony is under attack, he announced to the chamber. The Crothax raiders have broken through their defenses. 15,000 civilians are trapped inside the habitat domes, the council chamber filled with worried voices. Theta 7 was a peaceful mining operation, home to families from a dozen different species. They had no military defenses, only basic security systems meant to protect against equipment failures and small accidents. Council leader Miravesh raised her hand for silence. How long until our peacekeeping fleet can arrive? Quote, 17 hours, Council leader, responded the military coordinator. The nearest patrol is 3 systems away. 17 hours. Miravesh repeated quietly. Everyone in the chamber knew what that meant. The Crothax raiders were not known for their patience or mercy. They would strip the colony of everything valuable and disappear into the dark spaces between stars long before help arrived. Council leader, a junior technician's voice cracked with urgency. We are detecting an unknown energy signature approaching Theta 7. It is moving at speeds we have never recorded before. Every screen in the chamber switched to show the sensor data. A massive object was traveling through space faster than any known vessel. The readings made no sense. Nothing that large should be able to move that quickly. What is it? Miravesh demanded. Unknown, Council leader. The energy signature does not match any registered vessel in our database. It will reach Theta 7 inches, 42 seconds. The chamber fell silent. Every representative watched their screens. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Then it appeared. The vessel dropped out of faster-than-light travel above Theta 7 like a silver mountain falling from the sky. It was enormous, easily 3 times larger than the biggest Council warship. Its hull was smooth and dark, covered with patterns that seemed to shift in the light. Strange symbols marked its sides, in a language nobody in the Council recognized. By the ancient stars, whispered Ambassador Kevrin of the Salthex Coalition. What is that thing? The answer came quickly from the database technicians. Council leader, we have a match. The symbols are Earth language. That is a human battleship. The word human spread through the chamber like ice water. Representatives who had been sitting now stood. Those with skin grew pale. Those with scales felt them rise in instinctive fear. The humans. Miravesh breathed. But that is impossible. They have never sent ships this far into Council space. I am seen scenes brezid, the process, and hard round, scenes brezid, and B8. I have not D11. I am scenes brez. I have not D11, and hard round. They have never needed to, said old Ambassador Thornval, his voice heavy with memory. Does anyone here remember the Great Silence? Several of the older Council members nodded slowly. 300 years ago, an entire sector of space had gone quiet. 50 inhabited systems stopped all communication within a single month. When Council exploratory ships finally reached the area, they found worlds cleansed of all life. Not destroyed by weapons, but systematically purified of every trace of biological matter. The only clues left behind were fragmentary warning messages, all saying the same thing: beware the humans. They do not stop. They do not negotiate. They do not rest. The Council had assumed humans were the attackers. They had marked human space as dangerous and forbidden. No official contact had been made since then. Now, a human battleship hung in space above Theta 7, and every species that knew the old stories felt ancient fear rising in their hearts. Below the battleship, near the planet's surface, the Crothax raiders had noticed the new arrival. Their commander, Vex Kor, studied the massive vessel on his scanners. He had raided hundreds of colonies across dozens of systems. He had faced peacekeeping fleets, corporate security forces, and desperate civilian defenders. He had never retreated. Never lost a battle. What is that? Asked his second-in-command. Something big and stupid, Vexcor growled. Probably some new council peacekeeping ship trying to scare us. Load all weapons. If they get close, we will teach them what happens to heroes. His crew of 40 raider ships moved into attack formation. They had superior numbers and battle experience. One large ship, no matter how impressive it looked, could not stand against their combined firepower. On Theta 7's surface, inside the habitat domes, 15,000 people watched the sky. Parents held their children close. Workers huddled together in cafeterias and living quarters. They had all heard the stories about the Crothax. They knew what raiders did to mining colonies. Then they saw it. The enormous ship blocking out the stars above them. Hope flickered in some hearts. Fear grew in others. Nobody knew if this newcomer was a rescuer or another threat. On the bridge of the human battleship Indomitable, Commander Sarah Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back. She was a tall woman, with dark hair pulled into a simple tie. Her uniform was plain blue and gray, without the medals and decorations that council officers wore. Her face was calm, her eyes thoughtful as she studied the tactical display. "Status report," she said quietly. 15 raider vessels moving to intercept us, Commander," replied her tactical officer. "They are charging weapons. The civilians below are secured in their domes. No casualties reported yet. Open a channel," Chen ordered. "All frequencies. I want the raiders, the civilians, and the Galactic Council to hear this." "Channel open, Commander." Sarah Chen took a breath and spoke into the silence of space, her voice about to change everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Indomitable. To the people of Theta 7, help has arrived. To the Crothax raiders, you have one chance to withdraw peacefully." Commander Chen's words hung in the void of space. Across the galaxy, news networks were already broadcasting the footage. The human battleship, the trapped colony, and the raider fleet formed a scene that billions of beings watched with held breath. On the bridge of his flagship, Vexcor listened to the human commander's warning and began to laugh. His crew joined in, their harsh voices filling the communication channels. "One chance to withdraw?" Vexcor repeated, still laughing. "Did you hear that? This human thinks 40 battle-tested raider ships will run from one vessel, even if it is big and shiny." His second-in-command grinned, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Should we teach them respect, Commander?" "Yes," Vexcor said. "Fire a warning shot across their bow. Let them see what real weapons look like." 3 raider ships unleashed their plasma cannons. Bright blue energy screamed through space and struck the Indomitable's shields. The impacts created brilliant flashes of light that could be seen from the colony below. The human ship did not even shake. In the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Relic gripped his seat. They fired on the humans. They actually attacked first. Do they not know the stories? "Perhaps the stories are just legends," suggested a younger council member. 300 years is a long time. Maybe the humans were never as dangerous as we thought. Miravesh said nothing. She was very old. Old enough to have studied the original reports from the Great Silence. She had read the warning messages, seen the images of cleansed worlds. She knew something the younger members did not. The humans had not been the attackers. They had been the defenders. On the Indomitable's bridge, Commander Chen sighed softly. They chose the hard way. Deploy the drones. Standard Protocol 7. Deploying drones now, Commander. The sides of the Indomitable opened like flower petals. Thousands of small objects poured out, each no larger than a human hand. They moved through space like a silver cloud, spreading out in every direction. Within seconds, they surrounded all 40 raider ships. Vexcor watched the swarm approach his fleet. "Shoot them down. All ships, open fire." The raiders unleashed everything they had. Plasma cannons, missile systems, energy beams. The space around them lit up like a star going supernova. Hundreds of drones were destroyed in the first volley, but thousands more remained. They were too small, Too fast. Too many. They slipped through the defensive fire like rain through fingers. Then something strange happened. The drones did not attack. They did not explode or release weapons. Instead, they attached themselves to the hulls of the raider ships and began to project light. Holographic images appeared inside every raider vessel. Not images of weapons or threats. Images of a planet. VexCore stared at the hologram floating in the center of his command deck. It showed a world he had not seen in 20 years. A world with purple skies and 3 silver moons. A world covered in vast cities and proud monuments. His homeworld, Crothax Prime. Then the image changed. It showed the same world, but different. The cities were broken. The monuments had fallen. Vast mining scars covered the surface like wounds. Billions of his people lived in poverty, working as cheap labor for foreign corporations. A human voice filled every raider ship. Commander Chen's voice, but now it carried weight and knowledge that made VexCore's blood run cold. Crothax Raiders, Chen said. I know your story. I know what was done to your people. The hologram continued to show images. Historical records that VexCore recognized. His people had once been proud. They had built a civilization that valued honor and strength. They had never been conquerors, but they had been respected throughout the galaxy. Then, the Zelnar conglomerate had arrived. The Zelnar were a corporate empire, not a military one. They did not invade with armies. They invaded with contracts and trade agreements. They had offered the Crothax advanced technology in exchange for mining rights to certain mineral-rich areas of their planet. The Crothax government had agreed. It seemed like a fair deal, but the contracts had hidden clauses. The mining operations grew larger and larger. The Crothax economy became dependent on Zelnar trade. When the Crothax government finally tried to renegotiate the terms, the Zelnar had simply withdrawn all their business at once. The Crothax economy collapsed overnight. Billions lost their jobs. Food became scarce. The proud civilization fell into chaos. The Zelnar had watched and waited. Then they returned with new contracts. The Crothax could work for them as security forces, mercenaries, and enforcers. It was the only work available. The proud warriors became hired raiders, doing the dirty work of corporate masters who paid barely enough for survival. How do you know this? VexCore whispered, staring at the images of his people's fall. Chen's voice answered as if she had heard his question. Because humanity makes it our business to know. We have been watching the galaxy for a long time. We see what others miss. We remember what others forget. The hologram changed again. Now, it showed documents. Corporate records from the Zelnar conglomerate. Internal messages discussing the deliberate economic collapse of Crothax Prime. Calculations showing how much profit they made from the cheap labor of desperate Crothax workers. Evidence. Proof of everything that had been done. You have become raiders because you had no other choice, Chen continued. The Zelnar destroyed your economy and your dignity. They made you into criminals so they could use you as tools. VexCore felt something he had not felt in 20 years. Shame. Not shame for what he had done, but shame for what had been done to his people. And beneath the shame, something else, something hot and bright. Anger. Not at the humans, at the Zelnar. I have a proposal, Chen said. Stand down. Stop your attack on this colony. In exchange, humanity will help you. We will assist the Crothax in reclaiming your world. We will present this evidence to the Galactic Council. We will make sure the Zelnar conglomerate answers for their crimes. VexCore stared at the hologram, his mind racing. Why? Why would you help us? We attacked you. We are raiders. We are criminals. Chen's answer was simple and clear. Because it is the right thing to do. And because humans learned something important long ago. Today's enemy can become tomorrow's greatest friend, but only if someone is willing to offer the first hand of friendship. Across the galaxy, in the council chamber, Miravesh watched the exchange with wide eyes. They are not attacking, she whispered. The humans are not attacking. What are they doing then? asked a confused council member. Miravesh smiled for the first time in hours. Something we should have done years ago. They are solving the actual problem. In deep space, far from Theta 7, emergency alarms began to sound in the corporate headquarters of the Zelnar conglomerate. Their intelligence officers had been monitoring the situation. They had seen the evidence being broadcast. They had heard the human commander's words. The Zelnar executives looked at each other with growing fear. For 300 years, they had operated freely, knowing the Galactic Council was too slow and bureaucratic to stop them. But the humans were not slow, and they were not bureaucratic. And now the humans were paying attention. Silence filled the raider ships. 40 vessels hung motionless in space, their weapons still charged but not firing. Inside each ship, Krothak's warriors stared at the evidence floating before their eyes. Evidence of betrayal. Evidence of manipulation. Evidence that their suffering had been planned and profitable for others. Vexcor closed his eyes. Behind his eyelids, he saw memories. His daughter's face when he told her he had to leave to find work. His wife's tears when the food supplies ran low. His father's shame when their family estate was seized for unpaid debts. 20 years of pain, all traced back to corporate greed. He opened his eyes and made his decision. All ships, he commanded. Power down weapons. Commander, his second-in-command questioned. Are you certain? I am certain that I am tired, Vexcor said quietly. Tired of being a tool for those who destroyed us. If the humans are offering truth and justice, then I will hear them out. Power down weapons. Now. One by one, the raider ships deactivated their weapon systems. The threatening red glow from their cannons faded to darkness. On Theta 7, inside the habitat domes, the colonists watched in amazement. The raiders had stopped. The battle everyone expected had not happened. Instead, something none of them understood was taking place. In the Galactic Council chamber, the confusion was just as great. Ambassador Kevrin turned to Miravesh. What is happening? Why are the raiders surrendering? They are not surrendering, Miravesh corrected. They are choosing. The humans gave them information and a choice. That is different from forcing surrender through violence. But the stories, another council member said nervously. The warnings from the Great Silence. We were told humans were dangerous, that they cleansed entire worlds without mercy. Miravesh pulled up ancient files on her display. I researched those events after they happened. The council saw the aftermath but never investigated the cause. Let me show you what we missed. She shared her screen with the entire chamber. Historical data began to display. 300 years ago, a species called the Devourers had emerged from dark space. They were parasites, consuming all biological life they encountered. They could not be reasoned with or stopped through traditional warfare. They spread through the affected sector like a plague. Most species fled, some tried to fight and were consumed. The council debated for months about how to respond. Then the Devourers reached human colony worlds. The humans did not flee. They did not debate. They studied the enemy, adapted their tactics, and fought back with relentless determination. They developed weapons specifically designed to eliminate the parasites. They cleansed infected worlds not from cruelty, but from necessity. Every trace of the Devourers had to be removed, or they would return. It took the humans 50 years. 50 years of continuous warfare. But they succeeded. The Devourers were completely eradicated. Every infected world was purified and made safe again. The council ships arrived afterward and saw only the cleansed worlds. They assumed the humans had been the destroyers. They never asked questions. They never investigated. They simply declared human space forbidden and spread warnings to stay away. We were wrong, Miravesh said softly. The humans saved that entire sector. We repaid them with fear and isolation. In space above Theta 7, Commander Chen opened another communication channel. This time, she spoke directly to Vexcor. Commander Vexcor, I understand you need assurances. You have been betrayed before. Why should you trust humans you have never met? Vex Core appreciated the directness. That is my question. Yes. Your words are good. Your evidence is strong. But words and evidence can be lies. How do I know you will truly help my people? A fair question, Chen replied. Let me answer with action, not promises. My tactical officer is transmitting coordinates to your ship right now. Those coordinates lead to a location in neutral space, far from both council and corporate territory. Go there. You will find something waiting. Vex Core received the coordinates and checked them against his navigation systems. The location was 3 days' travel away. What will I find there? Hope, Chen said simply, and proof that humans keep their word. But I need you to do something for me first. Release the colonists on Theta 7. Take no hostages. Commit no violence. Show the galaxy that the Krothax are warriors of honor, not mindless criminals. Vex's Core felt the weight of the decision. His crew needed the supplies they had come to take. The raider life was all that kept them fed. But the human commander was asking him to choose honor over survival. Or was she offering him both? If I release the colonists, Vex Core said carefully, my people will go hungry. We raid because we must eat. Because our children must eat. I know, Chen acknowledged, which is why the Indomitable will provide your fleet with food supplies. Enough for 3 months. Consider it a gesture of good faith. After you see what waits at those coordinates, you can decide whether to trust us further. The offer shocked Vex Core. 3 months of food for 40 ships and their crews. That was not a small gift. That was genuine aid. Around the galaxy, beings watching the broadcast were equally shocked. The humans were feeding those who had attacked them. They were helping raiders. It made no sense by traditional military logic, but it made perfect sense by human logic. Chen continued speaking, and now her voice carried a warmth that surprised everyone listening. The universe has enough violence, Commander Vex Core. Enough suffering, enough cycles of revenge and pain. Humans learned that lesson the hard way, through centuries of our own mistakes. We fought ourselves almost to extinction before we learned to solve problems, instead of just fighting them. She paused, then added, you attacked this colony because you were desperate. Desperate people make desperate choices. But you stopped when given new information. That tells me you are not evil. You are not monsters. You are people who have been hurt, trying to survive in a galaxy that forgot about you. Vex Core felt something break inside his chest. Something hard and bitter that had lived there for 20 years. He had been called many things. Criminal. Raider. Threat. Outlaw. Nobody had called him a person in a very long time. We will accept your offer, he said, his voice rough with emotion. We will release the colonists. We will go to your coordinates. And we will see if human promises are as strong as human words. They are stronger, Chen assured him. You will see. Below on Theta 7, the colonists received a message from the raider fleet. The Krothax were withdrawing. No one would be harmed. The siege was over. Cheers erupted in the habitat domes. Parents hugged their children. Workers embraced each other in relief. They had been saved by the most unexpected savior of all, a human battleship and the power of choosing conversation over combat. In the council chamber, young Ambassador Trey Vin spoke what many were thinking. The humans could have destroyed the raider fleet easily. Their ship is clearly superior. Why did they choose this path instead? Old Miravesh smiled. Because they understand something we forgot. Power is not just about weapons. True power is knowing when not to use them. Far away, in the corporate towers of the Zelnar conglomerate, executives watched the same broadcast with very different emotions. The human commander had not just stopped a raid, she had revealed their crimes to the entire galaxy. She had turned their own tools against them, and worst of all, she had given the Krothax hope. The Zelnar CEO called an emergency meeting. How many human ships are there? He demanded. Unknown, sir, replied his intelligence chief. We only know about the one. Find out. The CEO ordered. Find out everything about these humans. find out what they want, and find out how to stop them before they destroy everything we built. But in his heart, he already knew. The humans were not coming to destroy. They were coming to fix what the Zelnar had broken, and that was far more dangerous. 3 days passed. The Krothax fleet, supplied with food from the Indomitable, traveled to the coordinates Commander Chen had provided. Vexcor stood on his bridge, watching the navigation display count down the final moments of their journey. "Approaching the coordinates now, Commander," his pilot announced. "What do the sensors show?" Vexcor asked. The sensor officer studied his screens, then looked up with confusion. "Nothing, Commander. Empty space. No ships. No stations. No planets. Just emptiness." Vexcor felt disappointment settle in his chest. Had the humans lied after all? Was this some trick to send them away while Earth forces did something else? Then his communication system activated. A new message appeared, transmitted on a frequency his ships had never used before. A frequency that only Krothax military vessels from the old days would know. "Raider Fleet, this is cargo transport Bright Tomorrow. We have been waiting for you. Please stand by for visual confirmation." A ship appeared. Not from faster-than-light travel, but from behind a cloaking field that slowly deactivated. It was a massive cargo vessel, at least twice the size of Vexcor's flagship, and it was painted in the old colors of Krothax Prime, purple and silver, the proud colors of his homeworld. The cargo bay doors opened. Inside, Vexcor could see supplies. Mountains of supplies. Food. Medicine. Construction materials. Farming equipment. Water purification systems. Everything needed to rebuild a struggling colony, or a struggling world. "Who are you?" Vexcor transmitted, his voice shaking. The response came from a familiar voice. A Krothax voice. "I am Captain Thelvar, formerly of the Krothax Defense Force, retired 25 years ago when there was no more defense force to serve. The humans found me 3 months ago. They asked if I wanted to help save our people. I said yes." Vexcor could barely breathe. 3 months ago? The humans have been planning this for 3 months? Longer. Thelvar replied. "They have been gathering evidence and resources for almost a year. They have been preparing to help us before they ever revealed themselves." Commander Chen's appearance at Theta 7 was not random. Vexcor. She was already in that sector, already protecting vulnerable colonies. She used your attack as an opportunity to make contact. The implications struck Vexcor like a physical blow. The humans had not simply reacted to events. They had been working quietly, patiently, building a solution before anyone knew there was a problem. "This cargo ship holds enough supplies to feed Krothax Prime for 6 months," Thelvar continued. "It is the first of 5 such ships. The humans have also prepared legal documents to present to the Galactic Council, proving the Zelnar conglomerate's crimes. They have economic advisors ready to help rebuild our planetary economy. They have engineers ready to repair the mining damage to our world." Vexcor sat down heavily in his command chair. "Why? Why do all this for strangers?" "Because to humans, there are no strangers. Only people they have not helped yet." Across the galaxy, in the Galactic Council chamber, an urgent session had been called. The evidence Commander Chen had broadcast was spreading through every news network. Public opinion was turning sharply against the Zelnar conglomerate. Protests were forming on a dozen worlds where Zelnar corporations operated. The Zelnar CEO, a tall being named Zolmar, had demanded an audience with the council. He stood now in the center of the chamber, his expensive robes shimmering with embedded technology. "Honored Council," Zolmar began smoothly, "these accusations from an unknown human vessel are baseless and clearly designed to damage legitimate business operations. The Zelnar conglomerate has always operated within the law." Miravesh studied the CEO carefully. She had dealt with corporate representatives for decades. She knew the language of profit and deception. "The evidence seems quite clear, CEO Zolmar. Internal documents from your own systems. Fabricated," Zolmar said with confidence. "Obviously fabricated by these humans for unknown purposes. Perhaps they wished to destabilize the galactic economy for their own benefit. Before Miravesh could respond, alarms sounded. The Council's defensive sensors detected multiple incoming ships. Large ships, moving fast. Zelnar corporate war fleet entering the system, the military coordinator announced. 75 vessels. They are taking attack positions around the Council station. Zolmar smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. I came prepared to defend Zelnar interests. Council leader, I suggest you dismiss these false charges immediately. Otherwise, this situation could become uncomfortable for everyone. The threat was clear. The Zelnar CEO was using military force to intimidate the Council. 75 warships surrounded their station. One wrong word, and violence would erupt in the heart of galactic government. Miravesh felt anger rise in her chest. This was how corporations truly operated, not with contracts and agreements, but with weapons and threats when their profits were endangered. You dare threaten the Galactic Council? She said coldly. I dare protect my business interests, Zolmar replied. Now, shall we end this embarrassing situation? Or shall we see how well your security forces match against corporate military assets? Before anyone could answer, a new voice filled the council chamber. Commander Chen's voice, calm and clear. CEO Zolmar, this is Commander Chen of the Earth vessel Indomitable. You might want to check your sensors. Zolmar's confident expression flickered. He pulled up a personal display. His face went pale. Around the council station, seemingly appearing from nowhere, 3 more human battleships materialized. They had been there all along, hidden behind cloaking technology that made Krothak's stealth fields look primitive. 4 human battleships, each one larger than any vessel in the Zelnar fleet, each one carrying weapons technology that made corporate military equipment look like children's toys, but the ships did not power weapons. They simply positioned themselves between the Zelnar fleet and the council station. A silent wall of protection. I have been in this system for 2 weeks, Chen said. My sister ships have been here even longer. We have been watching. Waiting. We knew you would come. CEO Zolmar, we knew you would make threats. We wanted the galaxy to see what you truly are when your profits are threatened. Every major news network was broadcasting this. Billions of beings across hundreds of worlds watched the Zelnar CEO caught in his own trap. Chen continued. You have a choice. Withdraw your fleet peacefully and face legal consequences for your crimes, or attack the Galactic Council and prove to everyone watching that you value profit more than law, more than justice, more than life itself. Zolmar looked around the council chamber. Every representative was staring at him, not with fear now, but with disgust. Outside, his fleet was surrounded by human vessels that could destroy them in seconds. He had made a terrible miscalculation. He had thought the humans were simple newcomers to be intimidated or eliminated. He had not realized they had been planning this confrontation for months, had been gathering allies, evidence, and strategic positions. This is not over, Zolmar said quietly. Yes, Chen replied. It is. Withdraw now, or answer to humanity. The Zelnar fleet began to retreat, slowly, reluctantly, but they retreated. They had no choice. The corporate CEO had gambled everything and lost. In the council chamber, Miravesh allowed herself a small smile. The humans had revealed their true strength, not just weapons and technology, but patience, planning, and the wisdom to prepare solutions before problems exploded into violence. Commander Chen, Miravesh said formally, the Galactic Council would like to speak with you. In person. We have much to discuss about Earth's role in the galaxy. I would be honored, Council Leader, Chen replied. Across space, Vex Corps received a new transmission. It was Commander Chen. The cargo ships are yours, Commander Vex Corps. Take them home. Feed your people. Rebuild your world. Show the galaxy that the Krothaks are warriors of honor once again. Vex Corps felt tears on his face. After 20 years of darkness, light had finally returned. 2 weeks later, Commander Sarah Chen stood in the grand chamber of the Galactic Council. She wore her simple uniform, the same blue and gray she always wore. No ceremonial decorations. No weapons. Just herself and the truth she carried. Around her, representatives from 200 species waited in their seats. Some looked curious. Some looked nervous. A few still looked afraid. The chamber was filled beyond capacity. This was the most important session in 300 years. Council leader Miravesh stood at the central podium. Commander Chen, you have brought significant changes to our galaxy in a very short time. You exposed corporate crimes. You prevented violence at Theta 7. You protected this very council from military intimidation. Many here want to understand what Earth truly wants. Chen nodded respectfully. I understand the concern, Council Leader. For 3 centuries, you have feared us based on incomplete information. Today, I hope to provide the complete picture. She activated a holographic display that filled the center of the chamber. It showed Earth, a blue and green world turning slowly in space. This is our home, Chen began. A beautiful planet. But our history was not always beautiful. For thousands of years, humans fought each other. We had wars over land, resources, beliefs, and pride. We developed weapons capable of destroying our entire world. We came very close to using them. The images changed, showing glimpses of Earth's violent past. The council members watched in silence. Then something changed, Chen continued. We realized that all our fighting achieved nothing but pain. We learned that the enemy across the border was just another person trying to survive, trying to protect their family, trying to find meaning in life, just like us. The hologram shifted to show humans working together. Different cultures, different appearances, united in common purpose. We stopped seeing strangers and started seeing neighbors. We stopped asking how to defeat others and started asking how to help them. It took us centuries to learn this lesson. Many people died before we understood. But we did understand. Eventually, Chen turned to face the council directly. Then we went to space and encountered the Devourers. We learned that some threats cannot be reasoned with. Some evils must be stopped with force. So, we stopped them. We did what was necessary to protect not just ourselves, but every species in that sector. Miravesh spoke gently. We misunderstood your actions then. We thought you were the threat. We realize now that we were wrong. We apologize for 300 years of unjust isolation. Apology accepted, Chen said simply. But I did not come here for apologies. I came here with an offer. She gestured, and the hologram changed again. Now, it showed the 4 human battleships, the Indomitable and her sister vessels. These ships are powerful. They carry weapons technology far beyond what most species possess. They can destroy fleets, crack planets, eliminate threats from existence, but that is not why they were built. The image zoomed in to show details of the ships, medical facilities, cargo bays filled with supplies, engineering workshops, science laboratories. These are not just warships, Chen explained. They are mobile aid stations. Each one carries enough food to feed a small planet for months. Medical equipment to treat millions. Engineers to rebuild damaged infrastructure. Scientists to solve problems. Teachers to share knowledge. Secure to vary from. Scientists to share knowledge. Ambassador Kevrin leaned forward in his seat. You built warships to deliver aid? We built tools that could do both, Chen corrected, because the galaxy needs both. Sometimes you need weapons to stop those who harm the innocent. But more often, you need food for the hungry, medicine for the sick, and hope for the desperate. She walked slowly around the chamber, making eye contact with different representatives. Earth offers the Galactic Council a partnership. We will share our defensive technology so you can better protect your people. We will share our aid resources to help rebuild struggling worlds. We will share our knowledge to solve problems together. In exchange for what? Asked a suspicious council member. No one offers such gifts without wanting something in return. Chen smiled. In exchange, we ask that the Council recommit itself to justice. Not the slow, bureaucratic process that takes years while people suffer. Real justice. Fast justice. Fair justice. She pointed to the hologram, which now showed Krathax Prime. The planet was changing. Cargo ships were landing. Construction was beginning. The scars of corporate exploitation were slowly being healed. The Krathax were victims for 20 years, while the Council debated and delayed. That cannot continue. The galaxy has too many victims waiting for help that comes too late, or never comes at all. Miravesh nodded slowly. You are asking us to change how we govern. I am asking you to remember why you govern, Chen replied. To protect the weak. To ensure justice. To create a galaxy where species can thrive together instead of merely surviving separately. A young council member stood. But what if we refuse? What if we tell Earth to leave and never return? You have the weapons to force us to accept your terms. Chen turned to face the young representative directly. Then we would leave. We would respect your choice. Because forcing others to accept our help would make us no better than the Zelnar conglomerate forcing others to accept their contracts. True partnership must be freely chosen. The honesty of the answer surprised many in the chamber. Here was a species with overwhelming power, offering to walk away if asked. However, Chen added, we would continue our work elsewhere. We would still help struggling worlds. We would still stop corporate exploitation. We would still protect the innocent. We would just do it without council blessing. Which would be unfortunate, because we could achieve so much more by working together. The chamber fell silent as council members considered her words. Finally, old Ambassador Thornval spoke. He had been quiet throughout the session, but now his ancient voice carried weight. I am very old, he said. I have seen the council at its best and at its worst. I have watched us debate while worlds burned. I have seen us choose politics over principles too many times. He looked at Chen with respect. The humans offer us a chance to be better, to remember what we were supposed to be. I vote to accept their partnership. One by one, other council members stood. Some quickly, some slowly. But they stood. Representatives from dozens of species, choosing hope over fear. Miravesh counted the votes and smiled. The motion passes. The Galactic Council officially welcomes Earth as a partner in governance and protection. Commander Chen, we look forward to working with you. Chen bowed respectfully. And we look forward to working with you. Together, we can build a galaxy where justice is not just a word, but a reality. As the session concluded, Chen received a personal message on her communication device. It was from Vexy's core. Commander Chen, the first cargo ships have landed on Krathax Prime. My people are eating real food for the first time in years. Children are smiling. Elders are crying with joy. You gave us back our future. How can we ever repay this gift? Chen typed her response carefully. By being the people you were meant to be. Warriors of honor, not raiders of desperation. When you have rebuilt your strength, help us protect others who need it. Pass the gift forward. She closed the message and looked out the council chamber windows at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, the Indomitable and her sister ships were already moving to their next assignments, already finding the next world that needed help, the next injustice that needed correcting. The galaxy had feared Earth's battleships when they arrived, the weapons, the power, the unknown threat. But fear was transforming into something else now. Into trust. Into hope. Into the understanding that true strength was not just the ability to destroy, but the wisdom to build. Not just the power to take, but the generosity to give. Earth's battleships had arrived, and the galaxy was changing. Not through conquest or intimidation, but through something far more powerful. Compassion backed by the strength to protect it. And across hundreds of worlds, from the council chambers to the smallest colonies, beings looked up at the stars and felt something they had not felt in a long time. They felt safe. Because somewhere out there, human ships were watching. Human hands were ready to help. Human hearts were willing to care. The age of fear was ending. The age of partnership was beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same.